Welcome to Inside Movies Galore, episode number 9, where we talk about Darin Arnofsky's The Black Swan. And here we have in the room, we have Andrea. Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And what were your first thoughts on the film? Did you see it before tonight, or yesterday, or was that your first time?
Oh no, I saw it in theaters. And hello everyone, I'm Andrea Thompson. I am a writer, critic, and I'm also the founder of the Milwaukee Women's Film Festival. That'll have its second year, for September 8th through the 10th. So yeah, come on out. It's at the Underground Collaborative. It's underneath the Grand Avenue Mall. Go down the stairs in front of TJ Maxx.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
All right. Cool.
Thank you. But yeah, I'd seen the movie before, and watching it again, I don't know. It was good. The directing's good. The acting's excellent. It's just, I am so tired of, in movies, whenever women, comprise the majority of the industry they're talking about. I am so tired of seeing all the catfighting, the female on female violence, like in this movie, and then the Neon Demon. So, just felt dated to me now.
Okay. Celeste, why don't you tell us, tell Andrea a little bit about yourself, and did you see the movie in the theater, or was this your first time, or?
I did not see it in the theater. I actually saw it when it very first came out on DVD. I watched it. So a few years ago when it came out, and I obviously rewatched it now, and it was still good. But I agree with that criticism. I have to say I don't see that many movies where there's a lot of women there where they aren't shown being catty or crazy or both.
Yeah. I mean, compare that to the documentary like A Ballerina's Tale about Misty Copeland. When she was struggling, when she was falling, a whole community of women came together and said, let's help this girl succeed. Such a contrast.
Well, KJ, since you're new to the show, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And oh, he just somehow. Oh, okay, KJ.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And was this your first time seeing the film?
It actually was my first time. I do like Darin as a director. Record Drug, that was probably the first film because I saw it. I was in the movie came in 2000, but I saw it in 2005, 2006, somewhere around that time on TV. But just a little bit about
Speak up just a little.
Okay, sure. Just a little bit about myself before I talk about my thoughts on the film. I would probably say I've always been a lover of film, lover of TV. TV is probably the first love. Film is probably the second love. TV westerns is what I started watching as a kid, and then once I started doing that, I just started to go on IDMB and just started to look up the actors and what they did, and that just kind of just spilled over into film. I started watching movies on TCM as a kid, and then as I got older, I started my own film group on Facebook, and I got to about 2,000 followers, I think, about that.
Nice.
I can say is just one thing about me is I love film. I love talking to anybody about film, and I just want to have a good time because just hearing about different opinions from other people, it always gives me new insight whenever I hear it. So, but just my thoughts on Black Swan. I didn't see it in 2010. When I did see it yesterday, that was my first time actually watching the movie.
Okay.
I will say that it was different. It wasn't really scary to me, so I wouldn't really call it a horror film. At least to me, it didn't really scare me. It felt more like a psychological thriller. I did like the fact that it was about a woman, though. To me, you don't have enough good films about women today, period. So I thought it was good. I thought it was a good character study about Natalie Portman's character. think the one thing it really showed to me is how much women strive to be perfectionists. That's probably really like the biggest idea that came out is that a lot of women strive to be perfectionists. So I think it was a good movie. If I had to give it out of a 1 out of 10, I'd probably give it about a 7.5. So that's my thoughts. And I am Kevin.
Dustin, was this your first time seeing the film, or
Yeah, so I had heard of it before, and it was kind of on my watch list, but I had never gotten around to it. And so when we were like, "Oh yeah, we're watching Black Swan," I was like, "Okay, great! I can finally see that and see what this was about." And I really liked it. Like I saw it for the first time just today, and I was kind of blown away by a lot of it. Like it was very intense. I think that's the word I would use. Like I see why we picked it, like to follow up Suspiria and Masks, because I felt there were some kind of similar themes between the three of them, and this actually kind of scared me a little bit because, like, I was just really drawn into it, like experiencing the events with the character, like as she just goes insane over the course of this movie, and so I was really impressed with it. I also didn't know I was getting.
Okay.
I also didn't quite know what I was getting. Like I thought I was getting just some sort of like drama. I didn't know it was going to be like an in-your-face, hurt your brain drama.
Alrighty, Katie. Was this your first time seeing the film, or what were your?
Actually, it was my first time seeing it straight through. It was one of those that I think I caught it on a movie channel or something and sort of started watching it but never finished it. And so I actually had a great excuse to sit down and watch it in its entirety and actually pay attention. And I agree with a lot of what's already been said about it. And I guess for me, the one thing that I could speak to in comparison to the other two movies that we recently watched, Suspiria and Mask, I thought that this definitely had a lot more focus on the dancing, which I appreciated. Getting into dance myself, I kind of was able to relate on that level a little bit more, where I think had I watched this even, 6 months ago before I started dancing, I wouldn't have been able to relate on it on such a level. So I really enjoyed that aspect, how in-depth the dancing was and how that story sort of played out through the dancing and stuff. I enjoyed all of that, and I could pretty much echo what everyone else said as well. So I won't. But yeah, I really liked it overall as a movie. I was told that it was a bleak film, and I didn't feel it was all that bleak. Like, I guess I sort of saw it unfolding as I was watching it, realizing that it was the story of the Black Swan, so you know how it's going to end. So I was just kind of waiting to be shocked, and I wouldn't say I was overly shocked, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was well done, and I enjoyed the acting and stuff. So yeah, I would say thumbs up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that was one thing I noted, like kind of a thick atmosphere of hopelessness kind of sets in early on. So I noticed that too.
Dane, welcome back to the show. What was your? Oh, KJ, were you saying something?
I did want to ask one question. Like, was there any redeeming qualities anybody could find in this movie?
I felt like there were like tons of redeeming qualities: the direction, the dancing, the camera work.
I'm talking about the story more so, though. In the story, was there any redeeming qualities in the story that you could find?
I like the story.
Excellent.
The story was pretty good. What do you mean?
You could never be sure what was real or not because you were inside her mind as it was disintegrating.
I like that, though.
I wanted to bring up, I didn't even feel like it was disintegrating. I think there were a lot of hints that she always had issues. I mean, her mom obviously had issues.
Her mom is awful.
And I think that her mom gave a lot of hints like, oh, you're doing this again, sort of thing, that it's been an ongoing issue for her, and they thought that maybe she was doing a little bit better.
Okay. Dane, why don't you did you see this in the theater, or did you or was this your first time, or?
I had seen it in the theater actually many moons ago, and I enjoyed it. I remember it being very intense in the theater, and I think that might have been my first introduction to Darin Arnofsky as a director. But the thing that bugged me about it then and now is the fact that they have that one bit in the beginning that literally spoils the entire plot. Which again, I know it's meant to be a parallel to Swan Lake and all that. I get all that, but it was way too on the nose, and I feel like any kind of shred of mystery was sort of, I don't know. It's like if you already knew Swan Lake, then I think you would have been rewarded for it. But if you didn't, then not knowing that would have made it play out a little bit better. But I mean, obviously, it's a very well done movie, very well acted. It actually made me respect Natalie Portman when I did not before, because I had only really known her at that time. I'd only really known her because of the Star Wars prequels. And
Oh, yes. I will never
nobody came
forgive
out- yeah.
George Lucas for making me think Portman was a bad actress when I saw her in that.
But didn't
I know I didn't really have a lot of. I didn't like dislike her, but I just didn't really think, oh, she's a good actress. And then I saw that and I was like, okay, you proved me wrong. But it's definitely not my favorite Aronofsky
She
film.
come off the fan boat from Star Wars on this film, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
This was what 2000? Was this 2010 or
2010.
2000?
Yeah,
2010.
Yeah, this is 2010.
Somebody said 2006, and I
Go
got
ahead.
confused.
2010.
You're thinking The Fountain is 2006, but yeah, it's not my favorite of his. I'm in the minority. My favorite of his is Noah, and my other favorites are like The Wrestler. This is actually somewhat similar to The Wrestler, except that one's more of a drama, and this is more of like psychological horror, but similar ideas represented.
The Wrestler was pretty awesome.
Yeah, The Wrestler was
I loved
amazing.
it.
I mean, Mickey
No.
Rourke. I mean, that's wild.
Now, I myself had come off of seeing some of the trailers for this film when it came out, and I believe I rented it from Blockbuster when it was still around, and I ended up watching it because my fiance was interested in it, and I, to be honest with you, was not a fan of ballet as an art form. It to me, it's kind of a boring thing to sit through. Although I will say that I did go and see Dracula as a ballet, and that was actually kind of unique.
That sounds pretty cool.
As an art form, I thought this film definitely brought a beauty to some of the dance moves, and I can see how ballet could be a very beautiful art film through this film. Now, I saw the psychological values of her downfall somewhat. And the reason why I wanted to do this film is because Dane had said something about it, somewhat showing some of the mystery early, and though I saw a little bit of what he was talking about, I still feel like there was some slight bit of mystery involved throughout the film myself. I mean, the way I got it, the drug that she was given to me, she started seeing things more than, and I actually found the part where the old man was jerking off in the subway a little funny, but
That was a weird moment.
it was a
Can
weird.
you begrudge the guy for trying out his Viagra? I mean, come on,
Okay, then what was
Yes.
his licking of the lips for? Hey,
The what?
what was his licking of the lips while he was? You didn't see that he was
trying to
licking his
creep her out. He was just being a creeper. That's
Yeah, he
all
was
that
just being he was
Well,
just
I
being a
wasn't-
total creep.
Wasn't-
Like I thought that part was pretty unnecessary.
I thought
I
it was
felt-
unnecessary. But
I
but
actually
thought she
felt like it showed a good comparison to like just how innocent she really was. Because when I can't remember if it was before or after that, where I don't remember the guy's name, the teacher instructor guy who's hitting on her all the time, where he starts talking about sex to her, and she's like, "Oh, so shy about it because it shows her innocence. How she's obviously a naive virgin that hasn't been exposed to anything." And I think it's sort of that helps to kind of build that idea, like she's so pure and innocent, and
Right, although
that's
she
how we
did-
see it.
I
She
felt
did
it more
say she was
showed her
not a
past-
virgin.
I mean,
She did say she wasn't, but I thought she was lying.
I agree. I think she was lying.
of course, in masturbating to yourself and then realizing that your mom was a when I first saw that scene, that kind of shocked me at first.
I think we've all been
that was
there.
the only.
Of course.
Well, I mean, I didn't
No.
necessarily. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know like how far they were gonna go with it. So I was like, "Whoa, wait, what's happening?" Ah! So that was my moment there.
Andrea mentioned something yesterday that I thought was unique too on her page. That she didn't realize the Winter Soldier was in this film.
yeah, Sebastian Stan. He's in this as one of the guys who in the club after she goes out.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize that.
No,
I didn't recognize him at all.
me neither.
Well, I wasn't really looking though, so
I actually found the mom the most interesting character.
the
I
mom was
actually
pretty-
related to the mom a little bit.
But she was
Major
clearly
shout out
really
to Barbara
good
Hershey.
daughter.
Always a very good actress in whatever she plays, and
Yeah,
you'll see.
I love Barbara Hershey.
every character she does good.
I love-
Yeah.
So,
I first heard of her in one of my all-time favorite movies, The Last Temptation of Christ, and I've seen her in a couple other things. And I thought, wow, I think she's always been consistently good, no matter. She actually, I think, ages well with her, and she also like. There are certain actors that are able to adjust their performance relative to like the kind of person that they need to portray at that time. So it's the opposite. It's what Tom Cruise and Will Smith need to learn how to do. Like they can't be the 20-year-old anymore. But she's like actually she has adjusted really well to the age group and just delivered every time I've seen her.
I saw her first in The Entity, which to me is to me is kind of a. Even though some people know it, I think it deserves a little bit more credit than it is given. But her performances throughout any of her roles, and since we talked about her character role in Rob Zombie in one of our earlier episodes, I can definitely say that Karen Black, memorable character.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great. Burnt Offerings was a good role with Karen Black.
Does anyone else have anything else to add?
I wanted to talk about the guy that was directing the show. I was really put
Okay.
off by his character. It was like really icky and disturbing, and the fact that it was excused, his behavior was like excused by everyone or seen as normal disturbed me even more. It was just so uncomfortable watching him on screen. It just really got to me.
But I think
Definitely, it's kind of the pass guys get. I feel like, no offense to the present company,
What
of
about the-
course. That guys get, especially in that kind of world where there are so many women vying for a spot.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
way he
it's like,
called
oh,
that
he's a
girl
genius.
little princess.
This
You.
is the man.
I agree, but at the same time, I mean, if you really think about it, he was actually really the only person who actually got her to become the Black Swan. Even though he was
But
wrong,
he did it unethically.
ethically, but he still got the job. But he
Incredibly.
still was able to get that out of her. I mean,
But he shouldn't
I
have
feel
been.
like that was the reason she was so drawn to him, because in spite of all his creepiness and unethical methods, shall we say. He was the only one trying to help her and make her a better person, performer, ballerina. And isn't that sad that he was represented really her best hope?
Right.
Well, there's a
Well,
lot
he
of
preyed
there's a lot of
on her
interesting-
need for that. He was a predator, and I
But
think that
I wonder
actually
why.
art imitates life in that situation because I've seen it.
Right. I think
There's a
we're
lot of-
expected, like as women
Oh.
and entertainers, we're kind of that's sort of seen as expected and normal, or sort of excused, and that's kind of really icky.
I mean,
I thought it was
Yeah.
there's a lot of interesting movies out there about sort of the unethical means by which teachers try to push their students to be the best. I mean, that's what Whiplash is all about. I felt like, I mean, I agree with everybody. I thought he was obviously creepy. I thought he served a story role, obviously, as the force that pushes her, one of the many forces that pushes her. I do kind of wonder if somebody like that would necessarily be attracted to a ballet company. I don't know. He seems, to me, he seemed like somebody who belonged in like the French porn industry or something. He didn't really, yeah, he didn't strike me as the Manhattan Ballet type because he was too straight. At least, I mean, no
I
offense
feel
to any.
like that was exactly the kind of world someone like that would be drawn to, especially someone who saw himself as an artist, as sophisticated,
And
a
a control
powerful position, yeah, with plenty of women under his control and women
Yeah.
that who are perfectionist and insecure, and that he could groom basically to be his partners, because he'd obviously done that to Winona Ryder's character, and then he dumped her when she got what,
old.
40, 35,
30.
too old.
Older and wiser.
I have kind of 2
In her
points.
case, not wiser.
Well, but
Yeah.
preying on young people, young women, was his forte. You know, she got
Yeah.
too old or possibly too smart.
Another thing that I got from this film is I know that a lot of women, especially maybe earlier in our century, were pushed by their mothers to go into like beauty pageants and go into these ballet things, and really were kind of like the force of nature behind them.
Kind of the live vicariously through your children thing.
Correct.
Definitely.
Carry on
that was there
the
too.
lineage line, and that's what I got from the character of Karen Black's character, because she, even though she was pushing her to succeed, she also didn't want her to make the same mistakes that she did.
It was almost like she didn't want her to grow up too, because like, did you notice her room, like how it was still like very much like a child?
Yes, I wanted to bring
Really
that up.
creepy.
The room is creepy.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that
Like,
up.
And how she dresses, like little girl, even underclothes and everything.
Yeah,
and she's always-
exactly.
That makes the
It was
director
really
even more
pink.
creepy because
And the
he's
teddy bears and
essentially
all
going
that
after
stuff
a
around.
little girl.
Did you guys notice
Yeah.
that the only dark thing in that room was a plush black swan?
No.
No, I didn't.
It's like
I
on the
love
chair
that.
in the corner. I do have a couple of things I just want to like nail really fast. First of all, why did you go right to French, like specifically as a subgenre, Dane? And second of all, with the point we were previously talking about, like I didn't think his character wasn't as bad with that as I was expecting, because it's like, we know it's gonna happen, and then he'd kind of like pull back, and it's like, wait, what's happening? So his character was definitely bad, but it wasn't what I was expecting. Like I expected him to take it a lot farther in more scenes, which was kind of a relief because he was still really creepy. But anyway, but back to the mother. Like the mother seemed to be really controlling, and it was just every scene with the mother was uncomfortable. So I could understand why this character had mental issues.
But did you think that the mother envied her?
What was that, KJ?
Did you think that the mother envied her? Did you think that the mother envied her?
Oh, definitely. That seemed to be kind of an undertone.
Because there was one that I couldn't get. It seemed like half of her wanted her to succeed, and the other half didn't want her to succeed.
Right.
Well,
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
a lot of
The
it-
really
Go
really
ahead.
sad thing is that at the end she really tried to do what was best for her and keep her away from the theater on her big opening night that she wanted her daughter for her entire life. But she really did try to do best. She said, "You can't go, you can't handle this," but she just couldn't stop her. So that's what I thought was especially sad.
You will not spoil this. Get out of my way.
And I would believe that the reason why Dane went straight to the French is because the French have always been known to be lovers, as we probably well
and they
know.
like
More perverts.
That
More
they,
perverts.
they like,
Take that, the French.
when they like them hairy everywhere, if you know what I mean.
Well,
I haven't watched that much French porn.
I don't think I want to see that.
The interesting thing about the whole childlike aspect is, and I've done a lot of research into different parenting techniques, and authoritarian parents, which I think it's safe to say that her mother clearly was,
yep.
they have a kind of paradoxical relationship with their children because they want to protect them from things, but there's always a part of whenever they do try to spread their own wings and they pull back, and so then the kids get stuck in this mental state of arrested development where they have an attraction to childlike things or have a lot of childlike characteristics, and so there's a lot of that tension, and but it is that it's
They
that
want them to
paradox.
succeed on
Nailed
their
it.
terms, not their own terms.
Exactly. Like,
Well,
on their own
and
terms.
I noticed that that conflict within the mother as well, because you see that clearly her worth is based on how well her daughter does. And so there was that constant conflict because, like it was mentioned, she wanted her to succeed, but not to actually go off and leave her.
right.
Yeah, well, that's
There's that other scene,
the
too.
thing. It's like you can only get so far. It's like we want you to be successful, but not too successful to where you'll leave us, or just her in this case. But the end result obviously is highly, highly damaging to kids who have to deal with that.
Right. Like there's a scenario I know about where it was like, oh, I don't think you can handle driving. We're going to actively work to prevent you from learning to drive on time. And, like the person didn't learn to drive until they were in their mid-20s.
Yeah, I know someone who actually had that exact thing happen to him.
Maybe it's the same person.
Maybe.
And there was that thing with the cake, too. The thing with the cake was messed up. It's like, oh, you don't like it? You're fine. And it's like, oh, is
Like
this person
overreacting.
emotionally abusive like
That
this?
was foreshadowing at its best.
Right, and it's making it so that it's obvious she can't predict how her mother is going to react in any given situation. So she's always on edge around her, and that contributes to her stress and anxiety.
Usually with authoritarian parents, they can often, well, part of the hallmarks of authoritarian parents, it's basically there's a strict set of rules because I said so, not based on anything factual. It's often based on whims, on emotion, on stuff that doesn't make sense. And stuff that's hard to predict, and so it contributes to depression and anxiety, which I would say that she definitely had, specifically anxiety. But
Yeah, that was probably why she was attracted to that creepy teacher too, because it's a continuation of a pattern that she knew. Sometimes he could be kind, sometimes he pulled back. She could predict how he would really react either.
And yet,
well, that's the thing. It's the randomness that
it was her that that he wanted her to seduce him, which she did in the end, I think. So,
well, it's that randomness.
Mom and daughter had a brother-sister relationship. Not
Pardon?
brother and sister relationship. It almost seemed like they were like sisters to some degree.
Right.
The mom and daughter.
She never got to live
Yeah.
her dreams in her youth, so she wanted to live out through her daughter.
Yeah, that's a good
But she's
observation.
still jealous of her daughter.
It didn't seem like a mother-daughter relationship. It just seemed like a sister and sister relationship. Because even the way that she talked to Natalie Portman was like, okay, it's like we're sisters, not like you're my child.
But
Well,
then
and
she
she had-
overly mothered her,
Their
like she
hair.
clipped her
The way
nails
they
for
wore
her.
their hair. The way they wore their hair was very similar too.
Yeah. Even the way
I
they dressed.
realized it was her mom until a little ways into the film because they were so alike. Like I thought it was like her roommate or something at first.
Now, I do have one question I want to ask about, and it's the scene with Mila Kunis. Now, did they have sex, or was that all in her head?
It was in her head.
That was a hallucination.
Yeah, probably in her head. I think she was actually went home with Sebastian Stan. Because Mila Kunis mentioned that.
Right, but then the mom didn't really see anyone there, did she?
Well, the mom was clearly upset. Like, I think she saw somebody there.
Yeah, she had to.
The
I
mom
did like-
never interacts with the Mila Kunis character, though.
Fantasy. It could have just been a sexual fantasy.
I did like that throwaway joke. Was I good?
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
And while we're on the subject, can we just mention how really good Mila Kunis is in dramatic roles, and I think we should see her in more dramatic roles.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
true.
she's
Yeah,
good
definitely.
in
Why
general.
not?
I love her.
Definitely.
I almost went, that's who that was? I went to this with all the spoilers that people dropped about it last week when we talked about it, and like a handful of knowledge from like word of mouth, but I didn't know who any of the actors besides Natalie Portman were.
So, did you enjoy?
Besides the fact that the movie spoiled itself.
I didn't really get that actually, because I'm not familiar with ballet. So
I picked up on that. I mean, I knew Swan Lake, but I probably wouldn't have thought about it. But I did pick up on the little lesson in the beginning, so it totally spoiled it for me. But that was okay.
I
I'm
made a
used
lot of notes
to
about foreshadowing. There's a
noticing
lot of obvious
parallels. I'm used to noticing parallels in things, particularly when they do 'cause movies and books. They all like to do.
Setups and payoffs.
If the writer thinks that they're really smart, then they like to put in a lot of literary allusions, and they think, oh, that'll make me look really smart. And sometimes it's well integrated, and sometimes it's very on the nose. And I felt like in this case, it was one of the most on the nose bits of well, in this case it's a ballet, but it's it was so on the nose that to me it was rather surprising in a script that otherwise was really well constructed.
So, did the movie bore
Maybe
you?
it was intentional then.
Well, I think it was, but I think it also was kind of a sign that it was trying to go for, despite how weird and intense it would be for most people, I do think it was trying to attract a wider audience than it would if it left that scene out, or if it was trying to go go for broke in terms of strangeness.
I don't know. Even though you knew something bad was clearly going to happen, it was really a shock how things ended up. Like when they went like to the theater, you knew something bad was going to happen, but I don't think, could we really have predicted how that would play out?
Well, you guys told me how it ended last week, so that did not help, but I see what you mean.
Well,
did anybody else get bugged by the very last line too?
What? That she's a perfectionist?
Well, that it was perfect.
Well, no, that
Yes,
it was
it
perfect.
was
I thought that was again way too on the nose, and I really don't like it when movies end with those like painfully obvious lines that signal with bright flashing neon lights, character arc has been completed. Look at this, audience.
I felt like it was
completed.
I'm sure there are worse.
Powerful final statement.
Oh, there are.
She did it.
Yeah,
She did it to achieve perfection, to put on the
worse.
ultimate performance. That was worth everything.
I mean, there are worse. There are worse examples, believe me, but it's just like. It just, again, it really depends, because sometimes they can work fine, and other times they can just be so overt that I'm just like, wow, couldn't have toned down the brights a little bit.
But to me, it was the most conscious she was in the film, though.
I think it was more intended to be horrifying, because she clearly didn't regret a thing.
Yeah.
It goes back to classification. Would we consider this a horror film?
No.
I don't.
Psychological horror, for sure.
Drama.
Maybe, yeah, it's just
Psychological
psychological.
drama.
I would still
Or
throw
just
it
like
in
a
the layer of drama, but it was
Drama, yeah.
Yeah, it was a much more intense drama than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be more of a mainstream movie, and instead there was all this like visceral stuff in there that I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?"
To me, it was a melodrama.
Okay.
If anything, it was a melodrama.
Well, at least it wasn't The Skin I Live In. That was this.
Oh, I
that
love
one
The
made
Skin I
this
Live In.
movie-
That's one of my
That one
favorites.
made this movie look like a freaking fairy tale, like a Disney movie.
Can I live
I think
in?
I tweeted that when I
terms
saw
of what?
it.
Was that the what was that? I feel like I should know that.
It's the one with Antonio Banderas.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
want
a
to spoil
mad
it too much.
scientist. Yeah, there's really nothing else you can say
I
without
just-
spoiling it. But this
It's-
came out right
I
after
really
Black
don't want to
Swan,
say anything because it's.
and that's what I
it's
said
very
about it.
messed up.
I
That
thought
it made Black Swan look like a Disney movie.
Well, I'll have to look for that one so that maybe we can talk about it sometime in the future.
Yeah, David, I'm surprised you haven't seen it.
I would
No,
love to talk about it.
not heard of it.
I'd love to talk about it sometime because I love this skin I live in.
Well, I figure we'll do everything by polls as we go on, and I'll probably only mention 4 films the next time we do a poll. But
I wanted to do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
well, it looks like in the lead for this poll this time will probably be the film that Dane suggested for me to get, The Room.
Yeah, tag.
Room.
Hot, Lisa.
Who was in the room? Who was in the room, actually? Who was in the room?
Nobody important.
Nobody important. Oh, going out. Okay.
He said it was a film that would change my
Not
life.
wrong.
And it did change your life.
Jesus.
Most of it just falls flat. Like, it doesn't really do anything to you. It's just like, yeah, this is
It does
bad.
something. It's like, this is so bad in every way. Like, you know, I run a women's
It's-
film fest and I can't feel bad about the like misogyny in it because it's just everything everything
so
else is
inept.
just so ridiculous.
It is utter perfection. It's the one. It's the movie. It's the movie that I can put in and it will cheer me up instantly.
Toxic Avenger is that movie. You sir have no taste.
Oh, I love. We got to talk about trauma movies because I know Lloyd personally and he's a hoot.
Definitely.
Like, the more I learn about Lloyd Kaufman, like, the more awesome he is.
He's amazing.
I was
He's
like,
a great
I can-
person in real life.
He finds a great boob.
I wouldn't know, but okay.
A great guy.
Intimate experience with Lloyd Kaufman is him signing my breast.
All I
Did
can
you,
think of is
you never
only if
watched.
signs
You
them
never
to
watched
Canada.
it again, right?
Oh no, I've had Dee Snider sign it since then. So, but it's been washed.
Hmm.
Well, in any case, I figure we'll wrap up the show here. I think we had a very interesting discussion this time. Even though we introduced each other in the beginning.
Did we, real quick, did we do like a everybody's favorite moment kind of thing?
We could do that if you like. What was
Mine is really
what was-
quick. It was just like when she's really flipping out, like near the end, like some guy like walks by her backstage in his like monster makeup, and she's just kind of like standing there like internally screaming, and the guy just walks by, hey, like, leaves. And I love that. I thought that was amazing. I have a weird.
Celeste? What was yours?
I liked the scene with the mom and the cake. That was
Okay.
the first scene that made me like, oh, hello. Like that's a little bit over
That's
reaction.
frightening. Yeah.
KJ, what was your favorite scene?
I think my favorite scene was the scene that I really didn't get, and that was when she went to see Winona Ryder in the hospital, and she started stabbing herself in the face. That's probably my favorite scene because I didn't really understand it, and I love Winona Ryder, so that's probably my favorite scene.
I think she felt guilty about replacing Winona Ryder's character, and so she was hallucinating that, like it's like she went to try to apologize, and then just her mind started to break, and she imagined like this like self-mutilation thing and ran out of there.
Because everyone thinking Winona Ryder and Barbara Hershey's characters were the only two I felt that didn't get enough screen time because I really didn't understand their characters. At least I understand Barbara a little bit more, of course, but I felt they should have a little bit more screen time just to see them a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought we saw enough of the mom. Like the mom was such a frightening, oppressive figure. Like I was kind of
more so
like,
the
yeah,
mom-
at the end
but-
when you
but
when
more
she
so-
messed up her hand.
More so the mom in the beginning, though, because just to kind of see was she as good as her daughter? Because I think I still that rivalry I still feel with the mom and the daughter. That's just something that I felt that wasn't really expounded on a lot. just how good was the mom. Because I think even there was a scene even with Natalie and the mom when she told her like, well, you had your chance basically, and she didn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, she
They
gave it up to have her daughter.
they let that
Right.
relationship kind of seethe under the surface too, and like the way they played it, like you could tell there was a lot of like, bad history under there too, but they didn't they didn't throw it out very frequently. Like I think we
And
saw just enough of it that we needed to.
and then one other thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say about the mother-daughter rivalry thing that when she said, that she gave up her career and everything to have a child, like I don't think that's necessary. I mean, they imply that, but it isn't. I have a child. I'm a single mom. I still make things happen. If you want to do something, you can find a reason to do it or find a way to do it.
And
Agreed.
well, her reply to that too, it's like, well, you're already 28. Your career was over. It was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
I
I was like,
know.
Fighting.
but
Dane, did you have a favorite scene?
I have two. First of which was when Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis were performing the Humpty Dance with each other. And then the second one was any time that she like fully transforms into the Black Swan with the amazing makeup and everything.
That
I
was pretty
just
cool.
just the look of it, like I don't know. And I also have a really strong interest in seeing good.
that was
I have a
pretty
really
cool.
strong interest in seeing good actors, quote unquote, play evil characters, and and vice versa, just because I like seeing the stereotypical roles get reversed, and so that made me want to see Natalie Portman play someone who's like really sick and twisted in a movie, which I don't think she ever would because I think she's too.
But
Her public persona is too sweet, but like
Really?
again,
Her role in
that just-
Closer was pretty not sweet.
but that's not really what I'm talking about. Like
Okay.
I want to see her play someone really sick and twisted, sadistic.
Her role in V for Vendetta was.
That
Pretty
still wasn't.
close.
That's still
Yeah.
not what. That's
Not
still not
really
what I'm talking about.
You want to see her play
But-
like Minnie from Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, I mean that's a little
Well,
bit closer.
few actresses get that opportunity. Period. To play a good juicy role like that.
Andrea, what was your favorite scene or
They did it in
scenes?
Dread.
My favorite scene I think was that performance her performance on stage where she culminated and finally became the Black Swan, and afterwards you see those like unnatural bird-like eyes, and plus you can't even tell that she had like a double. The camera work and effects are so wonderful because there's a big controversy where I guess an actress said, yeah, I was her body double for Black Swan. I really danced a lot of those complex scenes. So
Darren
Yeah.
actually cleared that up because he actually said that out of 129, takes of it, I mean, Natalie was the one who did 111, and that actress did a 29, I think, out of it. So she really did most of her own work.
I didn't know
yeah, the
that.
double was still there, and who knows? She might have been the one who danced that scene, but Portman was just so incredible in it that watching it, I felt like it really didn't matter.
And normally I don't notice cinematography, but like the way that was shot was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very much.
I love the cinematography in that film because it was so free. I love cinematography that can just really let loose, and it's not. You don't feel like you can really tell necessarily how something was done, or in that case, like just the fact that you feel like whenever you feel like the camera can literally go anywhere, then I feel like okay, they really did their homework, and like there's certain like that one. I think The Revenant recently did that really well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Birdman tried to do that, except that movie was so constrained with just narrow hallway conversations a lot of the time. Now, granted, when they started flying around, then that's when they started to get free. But like, I'm talking more about just something that can really take advantage of space and it tied down much.
Okay. Katie, what were your favorite scenes or scene?
I also liked the fully transforming into the Swan scenes, and actually the scene where she's practicing or rehearsing with the male dancer, and the guy keeps telling them to do it over, do it again, do it again, do it again. And I just really related with that, just the action of that. I've done that. I've practiced the dance over and over and over and over, and each time something, just trying to change, just something a little bit different to give it more whatever I'm looking for. And I connected to that in terms of how hard that is to go through that and continue to try to push and change. It sparked something in me. So I really enjoyed that scene, even though it was kind of a boring scene, I guess. But for me, so I liked it.
Well, if you have a real world experience that connects you to a scene, then you're going to get more out of it, and so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You were able to make it mean something more to you because you've had that kind of experience. Like, I've had that with some movies too. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I felt that kind of before.
Typically when I have that, it's like traumatic, it's like some sort of traumatic thing that I've been through, and it's like a total trigger, and then, creeps me out or something. And that's when I know like a movie's really touched me on a deep level, when it can like mess with me personally. And this sort of did that, but not in like a negative way. Just it wasn't really in a positive way either. It was just, I can relate.
Okay.
Well, be careful, because if movies touch you too deeply, there is a hotline for that. So
I should probably get that number.
So look up Trevor something inside of you. It's a song.
Okay.
If we're going for those jokes.
I had 3 scenes that I liked. I as well liked the transformation at the end, especially when her eyes turned real red. But there was a scene where they were watching 2 other dancers, and he said, "Look at her and how she moves, and see how she moves. That's because she's not faking it."
Mhm.
And then the next scene that I liked was a part where she had realized that she had stabbed herself, and the realization that it wasn't the girl that was that she thought that was supposed to be replacing her, but it was in fact her own self.
Do you think she?
So I liked those 3 scenes.
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you think she dies though?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
she probably dies, but the way it was kind of filmed, I'm going to tell myself that she lives. I can get away with that.
Because I didn't think it was that serious of a wound. I mean, she did like pierce herself in like the side of her stomach.
I don't think anyone can come back.
I think it has to be 7 inches to be like fatal. And it looked like it was only like 2 or 3. I mean, plus she was able to like move around a lot on it too. Like,
That's probably what killed her.
Yeah,
She
she
didn't
was like
right
bleeding
away.
out.
To do the ballet quite a bit longer after being stabbed,
Yeah.
So, but in any case, I'm going to try to wrap this up here. So, Andrea, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what we can expect from you in the future?
Thank you. My name's Andrea Thompson. I run a movie review website, A Reel of One's Own. I talk a lot about film and movies, write a lot about it, and I've also founded a film festival, the Milwaukee Women's Film Festival. This will be its 2nd year next month, September 8th through the 10th. So it's at the Underground Collaborative underneath the Grand Avenue Mall on Wisconsin Avenue. So yes, please come. And as for where I'm from, I just say I'm from Wisconsin because I moved around so often between states. And so yeah, we have we get donations. We have a GoFundMe. Please check it out. And if you can't come, if you can't donate, please spread the word and share. Because that'll attract other people who wanna attend or donate and everything. So just so I can keep it going, and make it even bigger its 3rd year.
I definitely want to go.
Thank you. Yeah, find me on Facebook. You know, I'll keep you updated.
Are you interested in being on future episodes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, awesome. Celeste, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm
you do?
Celeste. I am a co-host on the horror host TV show Dedgar's Dark Coffin Classics. We're shown in Kenosha, Milwaukee, Racine, that area. We're also on Vimeo at vimeo.com/ddcc. Check us out. And again, that's Dedgar's Dark Coffin Classics. The host is Dedgar Winter, and I'm one of the Dead Girls. And I'm also the host of the Glamour Junkies Burlesque Troupe out of Milwaukee.
Awesome. KJ, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe the name of your group, in fact.
I'm KJ. My group is Timeless Classic Movies. You can find us on Facebook. Have about 2,000 subscribers. I've been taking a little bit of a break. I'm basically watching a lot.
Sorry, what is your group?
Timeless Classic Movies. We have about 2,000 followers on Facebook. It is classic movies from anywhere from the silent era, from the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, and the 50s. I cut it off somewhere around like the 80s,
Is it
80s or
classic?
90s.
Is it classic movies and television?
Yeah, classic movies and television.
All right, add me.
Awesome. Dustin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I go to UWM. I'm trying to get into grad school. I study biology, but I'm doing GIS right now. I watch too many movies because I have no real schedule right now during the day. And I just like to talk about movies. So that's why we're here.
Awesome. Dane, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Go to my eBay store.
Yeah, my name is Dane Kyle. I'm a writer-director out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And you can see me and my work on YouTube. My YouTube channel is The Dane Kyle, DaneKeil, where you can see my black and white German expressionist silent film Eternus. And you can also check out the trailer for my upcoming film noir throwback film, The Big Blind, which will be coming out probably in the next, within a month probably. We're getting very close to being done. Very excited for that, and featuring Lloyd Kaufman in a cameo, so stay tuned.
Oh, and Celeste has some news for you about your short film.
He's announced.
Yes. We were filming an episode today for Dedgar's Dark Coffin Classics in which we show his short film, Eternus.
Oh, my tabs crashed out. Wow.
Thank you very much for that. I'm very grateful.
We are excited to show it. We loved it.
Oh, yeah.
And I love you for it.
Katie,
Yeah, I need to see your stuff pretty soon, too.
Katie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Katie Cadaver. I am a horror artist, face painter, makeup artist, whatever you want to say. I do some alternative modeling and burlesque dancing as well, and I'm also a dead girl with Dedgar's Dark Coffin Classics. You can find me on all over Facebook. I've got an artist page, which is Third Eye Open, 3RDEYE0PEN. That's where I share.
You?
That's me. That's where I share all my art stuff.
Yeah.
And then I also have a Katie Cadaver fan page where I share, my performances coming up or modeling shoots that I've been working on and stuff like that. So a lot of pics and flyers for shows and stuff. I always got something fun going on, and I just try to keep everybody updated on all my artwork. So find me on Facebook.
Didn't you create a T-shirt or something with your name on it?
Yeah, I didn't create it. A company called L Babies Tees created it, but yes, there are actually 3 different T-shirt designs out for me right now, and that's all on my Katie Cadaver fan page. That's Cadaver with a K.
I have 2 of the tank tops, and I wear them all the time. They're great.
Awesome.
How cool is she? So supportive, and I appreciate that so much. So if you want to get a T-shirt with my face on it, you can do that.
Awesome. And my name is David Streggy. I run Movies Galore of Milwaukee. I also write at the blog of the same name. I'm also semi-producer lately. I've been kind of producing some films here and there. My most recent one will be starting to be filming in October called Bopes, which is kind of a short film directed by a director from Hungary, which he's very excited. He just got it funded, so I'm able to share the information now. So I'm kind of excited too. So in any case, hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves on this episode, and
Very much.
it's looking like looking like the room is in the lead for the polls for next week, and then in another week I'll probably be having an interview with a director who did Night Job, a film called Night Job in New York. If anybody wants to be on the interview. And he'll be joining us in a discussion on Taxi Driver, which is his favorite film. So hopefully you guys are okay with the choice.
That's one of my all-time favorite
Do
films.
it.
Yeah, man, that's a great film. Oh yeah.
I've never seen it before. This will be exciting.
You must. You must.
Well, I know I must.
In any case,
it's on my list.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great evening.
Thanks for having